Alright. I don't know what's next, but honestly, it's got to be more interesting than the last two videos, pretty please. I'm awake. I don't know if anyone's still watching after the last two, but let's go here and see what happens. There's got to be something here. Something stimulating, something interesting. Oh, it's another one of these. Similar to Marienplatz, we can go left there and I assume right here. Starnberger See.
It's a memorial chapel. It's a memorial chapel.
For whom? Ludwig?
It's
Right, but I don't see how I can get closer to it. Oh, is that where Ludwig and the doctor died?
This is where he died. You must be Grace. Herr Dahlmeier.
Hello.
Josef. I didn't mean to startle you. I wanted you to see it. I feel him here the most, you know, more than at the castle. So, what did you want to know?
I missed your last name, Joseph. Oh my god, we've got a scroll bar now. As always, please settle in.
Professor Barclay says your hobby is Ludwig.
Yes. He was the last real king that Bavaria had. As a Bavarian and a history buff, that's enough to hook me right there.
But there's more, right?
He was a romantic, you know. A dreamer. And he was misunderstood, maligned.
Sounds like you can relate.
Me? Hell, I have it easy. At least I live in the 1990s. And not every eye in the country is on me. But yes, I can relate.
How can you relate? Are you also a recluse? Well, we can't even ask.
You know about Ludwig's diary, right?
Of course.
How can I get my hands on it?
I'm sorry. I have been trying myself for 5 years. They keep it locked up tight in the Royal Archives and they don't let it out. They must think it contains things that will hurt his image.
They won't let anyone see it, not ever?
Only one person outside of the government ever got to see it, a biographer, Sir Richmond Chapel. He had friends among the German royals and they let him look at it.
Did you ever try to contact Chapel? Pick his brain?
No, and I don't believe I never thought of that. If you do and you find out anything, you must share.
It's a promise.
Oh my god. I shouldn't say this because again the fans did it, not Sierra. But those subtitles. Chapel was mentioned twice, and his name was spelt wrong twice. We've got a book that was written by him. It's in our inventory right now.
Tell me about Ludwig.
I don't know where to start. There's so much. Politically, the most significant thing about Ludwig II was that he signed over independent Bavarian statehood to Prussia in 1870. Bavaria became a part of United Germany, and Ludwig became a figurehead prince under the Prussian Kaiser.
Why do you think he did that?
Bavaria had been involved in the 100 Years' War. People were tired of fighting. Prussia's push to unite the German states made some amount of sense. Still, Ludwig must have had other options. At the very least, he should have negotiated better terms.
So what was the real reason?
He was manipulated by Bismarck. At least that's what I think anyway.
Now we're discussing annexing other countries. Nice.
What about Ludwig personally?
You'll find two perspectives on Ludwig. The view the tourists get is the romantic ideal, Ludwig the tormented loner.
We've seen that.
Then there is the historian's point of view. Ludwig was plagued with guilt over his sexual orientation and was driven mad with self-loathing.
But I take it you're not buying either point of view.
Well, it's all too convenient, isn't it? That he was a devout Catholic, there is no question, and I'm sure there were pressures on him to be normal. But he was no prude. He loved Byron. Yes. Philosophy, the French court. If anything, Ludwig was too much an egomaniac. He didn't give a damn what anyone thought. And besides, he didn't try to hide any of his relationships. If he suffered from anything in his romantic life, it was disillusionment. No one loved him back as purely as he himself loved.
Who's Byron?
Well, if it wasn't sexual guilt that tormented him, what was it?
I don't know. His diary was filled with self-guilt, but I'm sure it's not about that. If I knew, I'd write my own book, set the record straight, so to speak.
Who's Byron? I've got a lot of names written down, a lot of dates, but I don't have anything about a Byron.
Have you read anything about Ludwig's midnight sleigh rides?
Would that have been something? To be out at night and suddenly see him sweep by with his entourage? They say the night agitated Ludwig, and that being outdoors and the rushing feeling of the sleigh calmed him down. Sometimes even the sleigh wasn't enough. He would stop in some remote woods, order his servants to stay put, and go wandering off by himself for hours. It drove the servants crazy.
I wish we knew what the moon was like when he was going on these sleigh rides.
Tell me about Bismarck.
Oh, Bismarck. He was the Prussian Kaiser's chancellor. Not a nice man. Bismarck had a reputation for learning people's weaknesses and manipulating them. It's a matter of record that he had spies on Ludwig's staff. He may even have had a henchman even closer to the king. And he was involved in the conspiracy to declare Ludwig insane.
Literally just about to say that. He was probably involved with the arrest of Ludwig.
Did you find out anything about the Black Wolf?
I did. I'd read about him before, but I hadn't realized that was who you were talking about. His name was Godin, Paul Godin. I found a reference to his being called the Black Wolf after you telephoned.
I've never heard of him. Who was he?
Me neither.
Godin lived on the fringes of the Prussian court. He was handsome, charming, dangerous, or so they say. He was variously rumored to have been a foreign prince, a Prussian spy, even an assassin. Since you were interested in him, I found out some things that are probably true. It said he came from abroad in the mid-1800s, but claimed High German blood.
Do you know where he came from?
No. And he was ruthlessly ambitious. He probably found out who held the power, Bismarck, and offered his services. Bismarck was a good judge of talent, of that sort anyway.
Making notes on that. Middle 1800s. I had Lewis's name around that time, and he hooked up with Ludwig. This other person, Paul Gaudin, never heard of them, but he was around the same time, and he worked for Otto Bismarck.
What else do you know about Godin?
He must have done something remarkable. Bismarck was not a generous man. He liked to string people along with promises, but rarely came through. He did for Godin, though. He gave him a royal title and lands in 1863. And that was the last reference I found to him.
Well, how could he just disappear?
It's not that unusual. Back then, when you were given a title, you usually changed your name and moved to a place where no one knew your past. So you could act with impunity. Or be a pompous ass and get away with it.
Right, so it's definitely not Lewis, because Lewis was, I believe, 16 in 1864, 1860. I've lost track of my dates. But Lewis was much, much younger.
Is there any way to find out what Godin was called after he got his title?
Is it that critical?
Yes.
It might be.
Well, you could send away for a copy of the entitlement deed, assuming it has been destroyed during one of the wars. Godin's new name would be on it. But you would need a research permit from the government to access those records, and they can be very hard to get. A lot of red tape.
Great.
I can be very persuasive.
What do you know about Ludwig's hunting accident?
1872.
A couple of years ago, I was introduced to this great old man, a real old world farmer. Well, his grandfather was Richard Horning, Ludwig's equestrian. Oh, he told some great Ludwig stories. Sometimes I get lucky. Anyway, he said that after the hunting accident, Ludwig got terribly ill, that he had a fever and was acting crazy. They were afraid that the wolf had been carrying a disease or that the bite had gone septic.
A wolf bit him?
Yeah, it's not so unusual. There were a lot of wolves in the Alps back then. The servants were really worried, but Ludwig recovered, physically anyway. Horning's grandfather said it was the fever that broke Ludwig's mind, that he was worse than ever after that.
That's the answer, I think. We didn't know that he was bitten by a wolf earlier. We do now. So, he was bitten by a wolf? He became a werewolf, perhaps? And maybe that's why he's going on his midnight excursions, to calm his mind or get away from his servants, so that he's not around when the moon plays tricks on him, or whatever the saying is.
What do you mean Ludwig got worse after the accident?
Ludwig always had been a very private person. But after the accident, he got darker, more crazy. Towards the end, he was even forcing his servants to enter his chambers bent over so they couldn't see his face. Horning's grandfather said his temper was fearsome. He would fly into a rage at the least mistake.
Must have been terrified of him.
Yes, well. Horning's grandfather felt sorry for Ludwig, and Ludwig hated his own violence. He was always giving gifts to his servants to apologize.
Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, that it would tie into the missing opera.
You mentioned that there were other reasons why Ludwig's servants feared him.
Ah, that's another of Horning's mysteries. There's a story about Neuschwanstein. Apparently, there was a period of time of 2 or 3 months when Wagner would come and visit him.
Wagner?
There. Yeah. The two would lock themselves in the singer's hall. Horning's grandfather said the sounds that came from there were awful. Well, the servants had superstitious minds anyway. Some of them quit over it, just walked away.
What kind of sounds?
Horning's grandfather called them heartbreaking and ungodly. Maybe it was Wagner trying to sing.
That crackling.
Well, I guess that's all for now. Thanks for your help.
It's my pleasure. And if you ever want to talk again, just give me a call. I'll meet you down.
I will. Thanks.
Servus.
Bye.
No idea what service means. Right, so I'm guessing that Wagner knew that something was very, very wrong with Ludwig. Possibly that he was a werewolf, if indeed that's where the game's going.
This is where they found Ludwig's body.
Ludwig and the doctor, I believe.
This is where they found Ludwig's body.
Ooh.
I wonder what it felt like under there.
Don't think that, Grace. It's a very dark thought.
I wonder what it felt like.
Ugh.
I wonder. I wonder.
I think both of those exits take us out to this screen. I don't think there's anything else here. I'm triple checking this because I got trolled at the museum very, very hard. Alright. There's a chapel there, but we can't approach it.
This is.
Or we couldn't earlier. The resting place of Ludwig. I say resting place, but that's where he died. They got him out of the water and they put his body, I haven't got it written down, but they put his body elsewhere and they've stuffed his heart into an urn.
It's a memorial chapel for Ludwig. It's
I can't get closer to it though. Right, so you mentioned this guy's name, Richard Chappell. Look at that. That's our next clue. We need to give him a call and pump him for information. What exactly, I'm not certain, because getting to the diary is going to be very tricky. Anything new, Gerda?
Hi, Gerda. I'm back. Good.
We've seen that before. Let's go to the library.
I'm not sure what other... Nothing... There...
I had to check. Can we make a phone call? Of course. We're chasing information about Ludwig's diary.
Hallo, Bertel München.
Hi, I have a book of yours on Ludwig II. The author's name is Sir Richmond Chapel.
Yes, how can I help you?
Well, I'm doing some research on Ludwig, and I was hoping you could get me in contact with the author.
I'm afraid Sir Richmond Chapel is deceased.
Damn.
Oh.
However, his son is living.
Oh. Well, is there any way you can put me in touch with him?
And who are you doing this research for?
Well, I'm working with Professor Barkley from Yale University.
Good save.
All right. Thomas Chapel's number in England is 41 20 555 771.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Bye.
There's a number missing there. All the other numbers we've got have been 555 and then 4 digits. There's a number missing here.
Sir Richmond Chapel's son.
Alright. Let's try again. You literally just wrote that thing down. There was no need to put it away.
Chapel residence.
Hi, my name is Grace Nakamura. I'm calling from Rittersburg, Germany. Is Thomas Chapel there, please?
Speaking. What may I do for you, Miss Nakamura?
This is going to sound crazy, but I have a copy of your father's biography on Ludwig II. I understand he had access to Ludwig's diary.
Yes.
Well, I'm not even sure. He didn't make a copy of it or anything, did he? Or perhaps he took good notes?
He wrote down a complete translation in English.
Holy
He
crap.
said he couldn't make headway with the German version. Ludwig's handwriting was rather brogue, you know.
He wrote down an English translation. Do you still have it?
Well, unfortunately, my father was allowed to see the diary only on the grounds that he wouldn't publish the entire work. I can't let you see it. Have you tried contacting the National Archive?
No, I don't have the kinds of connections your father did, or the time.
That's unfortunate, but I really cannot let it out of my hands.
I understand. It was just a shot in the dark.
Very well. The best of luck to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chapel.
Right. Are we going to go to England and steal that diary? Also, is that a dead end now?
I'll write to Gabriel.
Not yes. The National Archive. Georg mentioned it. I think he might be my next port of call. Actually, maybe I can talk to Gerda.
I don't have anything to ask Georg about at the moment.
What if I show you that?
I'm not sure Georg would want to see that. Cosima was Wagner's wife, I think. She probably just talks about him in her journal.
That seems very important, and I do wonder if we can get that somehow.
Grace Knapp.
Like, can we do something to lure him away, perhaps? Like fiddle with the piano here, distract him for just a moment. Maybe break something, get his attention. Don't get me wrong, all those things will be absolutely terrible, but Sometimes, to progress the game, you need to do terrible things.
Wagner.
Oh god, get me away from that music. There is a lot of crackle in this game, unfortunately. It's really a very low point. What am I doing next? Can speak to you?
I don't have anything to say to her at the moment.
Game, please! Don't do that. Let me have a chat to Gerda. Maybe she can help.
Gerda?
Yes?
Hello?
Gerda, do you have any idea where I could get a government research permit? I don't have time for a lot of red tape.
You should ask Herr Übergrau. He can maybe get such things very fast.
You think? I was gonna write Gabriel today anyway.
That would mean... Does that mean we're at the end of this chapter? Because honestly, I would be okay with that. This has been a slog.
I should get a letter off to Gabriel. I need to include a note to Übergrau about the research permit.
Start typing, Grace. Once again, ask for the address. But I mean, if it's going to Übergrau's office and we know Gabriel is visiting that office, then surely we can track him down. We just need to go there and wait at reception or something. We have a new letter.
My letter to the great detective. My letter to the...
We know what to do with that.
I don't have anything to ask Gerda right now.
Yeah, my next step was going to be to come back here and go into the pub and see if Werner and all the Smiths have something to say.
I don't have anything to say to Herr Huber at the moment.
Nothing. Alright. Is this it?
Grüß Gott, Frau Nakamura.
Grüß Gott. Haben Sie etwas für mich?
Nein, leider nicht. Brauchen Sie noch etwas?
You can have this.
Kann ich diesen Brief versenden?
Ja, 3 Mark bitte.
Only 3 marks today, okay.
Dankeschön.
Bitte sehr. Brauchen Sie noch etwas?
Not right now, thank you.
Danke.
Bitte.
The chapter does not immediately end.
I don't have anything...
Guessing no one's here?
Guess they're closed.
Nothing changed in here? So my question is, Von Eigner, did he potentially wake up as Paul Garden? I guess that's where the game is going.
I don't have anything...
That the identity of the wolf has carried on over the generations. That it was chained to this mortal realm. And that it's been hanging around.
Pretty comfortable. Even if he slept in it.
And it's going to be our job to potentially destroy that werewolf once and for all. Alright, I'm not actually sure what to do next to finish the chapter. I might click on hints very shortly because I'm not sure what to do next. I think we're done here at See, or however that's pronounced. I've got no idea what to do there. Do I really have to call him? I guess I do, don't I?
Grace Nakamura.
Grace, please. I've got to call that number, don't I? It's telling me to meet him. I have to go up here.
I'm not...
Sit down, Grace. Yeah, Dahlmeier.
I don't have anything to talk to Herr Dahlmeier about at the moment.
Right, so we don't need to go back there. Not yet, anyway. That would mean I need to do something at either the Wagner Museum or the other museum where we did the tour.
At least I...
But honestly, I've got no idea what. That's done. There may be something there, but if there is, I don't know what. To me, it seems logical that Georg would have something new.
I don't have anything to add. I'm not... I'm not... Wagner... Cosima was Wagner's wife.
What are we doing here? Also, I need to check out the notebook.
Grace Nuck.
I'm not looking forward to that.
This must be a model of Wagner's own theater, here in Bayreuth.
His own theatre, not the one that was under construction or proposed.
This... Opera... These look like... I don't see anything that looks...
Hey, yeah, let's go back to those wolf paintings.
Ludwig, the great patron himself.
It's so disorienting in here. It really is.
It looks like in every... It's a letter... Wasn't Wagner's Bayreuth Theater already built? Why would Wagner be worrying about acoustics?
Don't know if we saw that earlier.
Wagner's... It looks rather simple. I don't have...
Let's try the museum. We'll go back into the main hall where we saw the wolf paintings. Can I really not skip ahead to there? I don't think so.
I wonder if Ludwig...
That's going to be important later, I can already tell. And by that, I mean I've got no idea if it'll actually be important later or not. That's where it came from. It's so disorienting.
More swan.
The swan motif is featured. The painting behind the swan shows Lohengrin's arrival.
Right, so we've now got knowledge that Ludwig was bitten by a werewolf.
There must be a story behind these wolf paintings. But what story?
Engelhart and the Blacksmith.
There's no tour guide here.
Engelhart courts Hildegunde. The hunters track down Engelhart and Hildegunde. Hildegunde's imprisonment. The wedding feast of Hildegunde and the Baron.
She is not a happy girl.
The death of Engelhart.
Yeah, Engelhart was not human. Or was a human, but was also a werewolf, perhaps. Where... I can sort of see where the game's going, but... right now, I would just like to get out of here if I can. There's going to be a way out somewhere. I would like to get out of this chapter, but I don't know how. Goethe's got nothing for us. I don't think there was anything at the church.
I don't have any.
You've got nothing, which is a terrible troll.
I don't. Maybe Mrs. Smith will.
We've spoken to Mrs. Smith about our dream.
December. These are.
I think there's more that we need to learn about Elizabeth here. Right, I'm going to click on hints because I've been in this chapter long enough. Linking destinations have tasks left to complete in the chapter. Are you serious? We're not done at the Wagner Museum. We're done here and here. What the hell do I do here? I did not see anything that we could do here. We could look at that. We could go left and look over here. The only other thing I can think of doing is going back to Schloss Ritter. Or maybe the church. Let me try the church very quickly. I don't think there'll be anything here though. So these flowers. Ooh! What have we here?
Gibt's das denn die Lilienblühen schon?
Sehr schön.
Ja, aber es ist doch noch so kalt.
Something about them being cold. She said very pretty. I don't recognize the rest.
Für Sie ein Geschenk von der Madonna.
Oh no.
Nehmen Sie sie ruhig. Heute Nacht wird es kalt und sie wird sowieso erfrieren.
I can't quite make that out, but we get a flower.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, he does not speak English. What's the purpose of that?
It was nice of Father Getz to give me one of the lilies.
Same guy, okay.
Father Getz said the lily was a gift from the Madonna. That's an odd way of looking at it.
We saw something about a Madonna in the museum on the left-hand side. We've been told we don't need to go back there, but I've been trolled on that before.
The Madonna.
Right, so what can I do with this lily? Ludwig was sort of obsessed with lilies and swans, so...
Those look better.
So maybe there's something there?
Wolf.
Nothing in the church. We'll check Werner Huber very quickly. I can't imagine there'll be anything there. The guy at the Rathaus is not available today.
I don't have anything. King Ludwig. I have no. So that's.
Nothing new there. Let me go back to Schloss Ritter and try Goethe's bedroom and the side entrance. So you interested in this?
I'm not sure why she'd want to see that.
Absolutely not. Right, let's go in here. I'm not going to suggest that we pee on the mattress.
I don't want to go back. I'll leave the other roses on the bush. I think it's the cat.
Right. That means I need to do something at one of the other locations, and the one that's coming to mind is the museum, even though that's not flashing. Rittersberg is still flashing. Oh dear. Is there any chance that I can call this bloke now that I'm holding the lily? I don't think so, but I've got to try. That one.
I don't know who else to write. I don't think pleading with Mr. Chapel will help.
And we're not getting the permit until tomorrow.
It wasn't worth picking.
Right, well, I've got a lily. What do I do with it?
At least I have the car keys now.
You do indeed. My immediate thought was let's take it there, but it's not flashing. But I have been trolled on Thalkirken. I'll show you this.
I'm not.
I don't think there's going to be anywhere in there that we can place it. What about if I placed a lily in the lake or something? Can I go up here and show my respects, perhaps? Oh. We can indeed, but not in the way that I thought we would.
I'm trying to figure out what you want me to do. But I need more information to work with. If you can send any my way, I'd appreciate it.
Are we talking to the High Priestess there? Or Gabriel? Or Ludwig? Well, that's terrifying. Grace, you should probably take 2 of your pills and go to bed. You're seeing things. Saw Ludwig, but I don't see how that helps us in any way, shape or form.
It's a memorial chapel for Ludwig.
Cool. What now? We are done here. Georg, don't think bad of me, but I've been seeing things.
I don't have anything to...
Damn it.
Hi. You just had a phone call.
Here we go.
It was Frau Gelder at the post office. She said a fax came in for you there.
Really? I wonder what it was.
Maybe it's from Gabriel.
No.
Don't hold your breath.
She did use the word brief, which I believe means brief, quick, fast, schnell, something like that. I think we just got our permit.
Hallo, Frau Gelder. Haben Sie etwas für mich?
You have something for me?
Ein Fax. Ein sehr langes Fax.
A very long fax.
Das ist aber nicht vom Schattenjäger.
Ist okay. Dankeschön. Thomas Chapel. Oh.
What? Fax of Ludwig's diary translation. What the hell? Oh my word. Thomas Chapel, Grace Nakamura, Rittersberg, your previous request. Many. I can't click on that to read it, unfortunately, so I have to read it out loud. Miss Nakamura, it seems I've had a change of heart. Please keep these in the strictest confidence. Good luck on your endeavor. Thomas Chapel.
11th June 1872. Louis has convinced me to think matters through more thoroughly before I act. A trip it shall be then, to Shahin. It shall not alter my purpose, I feel, nor shall his compelling. The treaty is the ruin of my beloved Bavaria, and must be taken to task.
This is where I wish I'd been keeping my notes up to order. So when did Bavaria get absorbed into Prussia? I don't have an exact year written down, unfortunately, but presumably that happened before 1872. 1872 is when he had the quote-unquote hunting accident. Something bad happened.
11th June 1872. Louis has convinced me to think matters through more thoroughly before I act. A trip it shall be then, to Shahen.
Where was Shahen? That's not a name I've heard up until now. Oh my god, there is so much stuff here. Holy shit. 11th of June, 3rd of July, so a month later.
3rd July 1872. The pain gets so bad I cannot hold a pen to write, but the horror is far worse than the pain. He says it was an accident, says that we can truly be one now, that it is a great adventure. I believe him 1 minute, and the next I can feel the flames of hell upon my heels. May God have mercy on my soul.
This has to be werewolfery, surely. That's a long time jump. So the accident's already happened at this point. He talks about pain. Right, so 1.5 years later.
5th January 1874. By the power of Mary, Mother of God, I swear to refrain from the ultimate sin and to remain steadfast in my flesh. Sworn by the power of the lily, Eleanor.
Ludwig and Richard. I don't think Richard was involved with writing this. Although the handwriting is slightly different, but oh no, it's not that different. The ultimate sin of the flesh, so as long as he has not eaten anyone else or tasted human blood, then he's probably okay. Assuming, of course, that he is a werewolf. That's, again, a long time jump. 5 years later.
30th August 1879. I will not falter, but will remain true. No matter the torment or longing, I will not yield. I will control the process. God grant me strength and will. By the grace and power of the monarchy and its allegiance. De Paul Leroy, Eleanor.
We saw that at the museum somewhere, but I don't remember what context.
10th September 1880. It is all finished. Elizabeth warned me, and I discovered the truth at last. O most venomous viper at my very bosom! O lowest of the least worthy who ever breathed! My Judas, my devil! If I could tear my heart out and fling it after him in the dirt, I would. I would.
Wait, so I assume Lewis is the werewolf, or the alpha werewolf in this scenario. He attacked Ludwig, and Ludwig didn't know? Elizabeth told him? That's what I get out of that. Elizabeth has told him, hey, you're a werewolf, and this is how it happened. Because something happened in 1880 that caused him to kick Louis to the curb. And I'm guessing this was it. When is that? 2 months later.
12th December 1880. He continues to come, the devil. I will never look upon his hideous face again. He is afraid I will tell, and I might. To destroy him, I might. When I think of the accident, now that things are clear, I wonder, was it truly an accident, or was it the plot to kill me? If so, why did he not complete it then, instead of putting me in this torment? Could he have hated me so? I wish to God he had simply ended it there.
I think regardless, he did not intend to kill you. It was either a genuine accident, or he wanted to make another little werewolf, and he didn't want to kill you for that purpose. Also, I've just realised that this is a transcript or a translation of the original diary, which means the handwriting does not matter. Half a year later, 1881.
10th June 1881. Terror. Rapture. During W's music tonight, I felt a pulling. The horror nearly came upon me right there. Then the music turned, and it was gone. What can it mean? I must confide in the great friend. Perhaps he will know what has happened.
Potentially turning to a werewolf in the opera hall, perhaps? A year later?
2nd August 1882. The experiments go better and better. W has proved as loyal and determined as ever I believed he would be in a matter of my salvation. He says he has the formula now. It remains only to put the finishing touches on the completed opera and to draw up the diagram for the crystals. Can it truly end? I scarce dare to hope.
He was trying to find a cure. Okay. Almost a year later?
April 1883. The great friend is dead. How unjust that he should be taken from me now. Where is my chance at salvation? Why has God condemned me twice?
Yep, typical child thinking only of himself. And 2 years later?
10th October 1885. There must be made clear funds for the crystals. Lies. Everyone lies. My own servants. What must I do? Must I sell one of my beloved castles? The crystals must be made. I grow daily less able to control my own will. How long will I be able to resist the ultimate sin? And the music is worthless without the device. Time is running out. The crystals must be made.
I guess that's the next thread. We need to learn about these crystals, learn about this device that Wagner and Ludwig tried to create. I imagine it's a cure for werewolfery. Alright, well, we're going places, but Grace did not comment on that just now. So the question is, what next? I do want to check the notebook, just looking at time. We've probably got a whole bunch of new stuff here. Christian Rizzo.
Dahlmeier. The 1864 Black Wolf that was mentioned in Christian Ritter's letter to Ludwig was probably a man named Paul Godin. At least Godin lived in Prussia at that time, had that nickname, and was well connected. Godin was from abroad, but claimed to be from high Germanic blood.
Like Gabriel.
He was a spy for Bismarck. This is somewhat disappointing, since the name Godin means nothing to me. Guess I was expecting enlightenment or something. Dahlmeier. Godin was granted a royal title and lands in 1870 by Bismarck. What did he do to deserve it?
I'm guessing we already know who Godin is, but we can't confirm it for now.
Dahlmeier. No trace of Godin after his entitlement, probably because his name changed. New name would appear on entitlement deed.
We need to track down that deed, perhaps. Yep, seen that. We discussed the dream. We've seen all this, except for that.
Dahlmeier says Ludwig's most important act politically was to sign away independent Bavarian statehood to Prussia in 1870.
1870.
It must have killed him. He was so into absolute monarchy. Why did he do it? Dahlmeier doesn't know. Says maybe he was manipulated.
Just writing that down. So, that first entry in his diary was 1872, I believe.
Dahlmeier says Ludwig's diary is filled with entries vehemently swearing off an activity, but not naming that activity. Clearly, Ludwig had a secret, tormenting guilt. Biographers generally interpret this guilt as sexual guilt, but Dahlmeier thinks it was something else. Doesn't know what. Could it be related to the Black Wolf and or Ludwig's spiritual unrest? It seems to me that if something tormented Ludwig that much in his lifetime, it's likely to be the same thing tormenting his spirit in the afterlife. Assuming Mrs. Smith is correct and he is tormented.
The thing there was the ultimate sin, presumably consuming flesh in werewolf form. I do wonder if we can call him back, now that we know.
Dahlmeier. Bismarck was the Prussian Kaiser's chancellor during Ludwig's reign. He supposedly had spies in Ludwig's household and was rumored to be involved in the conspiracy to rule Ludwig insane. Obviously, he would benefit by Ludwig signing over Bavarian statehood to Prussia. How did he get Ludwig to do it? Dahlmeier says he was a genius at playing people's weaknesses. Ludwig certainly had a few that could be played upon.
Blackmail, perhaps? But the hunting accident was in 1872, and it was handed over in 1870, so that doesn't make sense.
Dahlmeier says Ludwig's diary is in the Royal Archives and no one was allowed to see it. The only one who saw it was a biographer, Chappell.
And now we've seen parts of it as well.
Schloss Ritter. I called Chappell's son, but he won't let me see the diary. Dahlmeier says Ludwig took his train or sleigh out at night because he was restless. Sometimes even the motion of the sleigh wouldn't be enough, and he'd stop and go wandering alone in the woods for hours. Tell me, friends and neighbors, what do you think he did out in the woods at night alone?
Okay, so Grace knows. Good.
Dahlmeier says Ludwig's hunting accident involved Ludwig being bitten by a wolf. His servants claim Ludwig was never the same after that the fever from the bite broke his mind. They suspected the wolf was diseased. Perhaps they were right.
Louis must have been the wolf. Must have been. Yeah, we've seen all this, I think. I don't recall seeing these last couple of pages, but honestly, I'm not going to read them out. Not now. And this has gone on for long enough, so what next? I feel we've got a lot of information here. Well, we do have a lot of information here.
Hi, Gerda. I'm back.
Good.
I don't have any...
But I'm not sure what to do with it. Can we call this guy and thank him for his help? That seems like the least we could do.
Nothing. There's... I'm not... I don't think Mr. Chappell wants to hear from me again.
We could say thank you at least.
I don't have anything to talk to Herr Dahlmeier about at the moment.
That actually surprises me. I thought that maybe we could say, okay, we've got some, not definitive proof, but what seems like definitive proof of what happened. We found his diary and all that.
I'm not sure why she'd want to see that.
I can think of a few people who'd want to see this though. Let me just try Werner Huber again. Let's just make absolutely certain there's nothing to do here before I go to the map.
I don't have...
I feel I'm very close to ending this chapter, but there's just one or two more things that I need to do. We are very close. Hey dude, check this out.
Have you heard of Ludwig's diary?
Yes, but no one is allowed to see it.
Yeah.
It just so happens that I have a copy of an English translation right here. There's something I wanted to show you.
This is not a good idea, Grace.
Read this one.
August 1882. The experiments go better and better. They has proved as loyal and determined as ever. It remains only to put the finishing touches on the completed opera and to make up the diagram for the crystal. My God! Wait, I want to show you something.
With preparo, or whatever that saying is in German.
I am not supposed to have looked at this myself, but I am here alone all day, so...
Cosmo's diary. I feel we should be handling that with gloves.
Yeah.
Like we're getting hand oil all over it and whatever else.
July 1881. Richard returned from his meeting with the king. Never have I seen him so pale. I was concerned for his heart. He would not speak with me, but immediately shut himself up in his study and started working on a new project. He will not tell me the first thing about it. He will only say that it was time he repaid his king. It confirms Ludwig's diary. He wasn't crazy.
Yes, but Ludwig says that the opera was completed. Imagine that, completed. there's something else.
Also, I do see that at the top left. Chapter 4 is done.
August 1882. We had a messenger tonight from the king. He brought a letter which Richard burnt. I did manage to see a bit of it. It said something about a great night in Munich and that it would be Richard's supreme triumph and someone else's destruction. Ludwig then wrote that even though he himself would probably die, his immortal soul would be freed thanks to Richard. I worry for poor Ludwig and for us. Where will we be if his madness continues? Surely someone will put an end to it. Wow.
There's one more.
So we have to talk about werewolves in front of you. I don't want to.
May 1883. I sent Richard's sealed package to the king, as he instructed moments before he closed his eyes forever. I could not even bring myself to care what was in it. What could it matter now? Whatever it is, I hope it brings the king good memories of Richard. He did so much for my beloved.
What was the package?
The package.
I swear I didn't script that. What was in that package? The gems, the crystals? Ludwig said the crystals must be made. Oh boy. That honestly was not a terribly high point of the game. It did get interesting in this final video, I think, but the previous two videos, they were a slog, and honestly, I don't think they were terribly interesting. There was just too much information there, too many dates, too many places. I'm not sure what the purpose of going to that museum on the left-hand side was, apart from looking at those wolf panels. We had all those rooms we had to tour. It's like the game was trying to be educational, and I don't know if that's the right call for a point-and-click like this, to be honest. Either way, I think we know what happened now. There was a hunting accident in 1872. Ludwig was bitten by Louis, who Christian Ritter was chasing. Christian died. It sounds like from everything that we know that he turned into a werewolf. He went on midnight strolls with his sleigh. He frequently went into the woods alone to do werewolfy stuff and wait it out, I assume. And he became a recluse so that people wouldn't see him. Richard Wagner had a cure, apparently, but it didn't seem to work. And then he died in 1886 after his arrest by drowning in a lake with his doctor. That's everything. I'm guessing, though, that his immortal soul is trapped here because reasons involving the alphas and the betas, which I can't even remember right now because it's been too damn long since I've actually read that book. Alright, next time we'll take a look at Chapter 5. I'll need to start it right now on this recording, but I'll put it into the next video. And yeah, I assume we're switching back to Gabriel now, and some more interesting things are going to happen. Back shortly.